This is online lecture number 5, Introduction to Adobe Acrobat. I'll start with a brief history of Adobe Acrobat. In the early 1990s, as you may recall from our first lecture, the modern internet, as we know it now, had just been released to the public. And one thing that had become clear is that we needed some way of trading documents from one place to the other using a common application. At the time, the only way to do this was to have the application it was written on. For example, if a document was written on WordPerfect, you weren't able to open it on anything but WordPerfect. So we needed something that was common that we used on multiple platforms, including different computer types such as Apple and Windows-based computers. Now, there were numerous companies in competition to create the software product. In 1993, Adobe released their first suite of products to meet this need. At the time, they called them Adobe Reader, Acrobat Exchange, and Acrobat Distiller. Now, Adobe has actually been changing their names of their software quite frequently over the years, and as you'll see, it goes by a different name now, but that was the basic product back then. Was still the same idea, where you had the reader that would be used just to read, and then Exchange and Distiller had to do with creating the actual documents from their source documents. So Adobe was actually responsible for the creation of the PDF or portable document format standard. They actually invented it. At the time of its release in 1993, it was proprietary and remained that for quite some time, which meant that other companies could not write software using this standard format. By 2008, the PDF format was so common and used so widely that it was released as an open standard, which means that other companies could use the PDF standard in their software. And of course, now PDF documents are quite commonplace. Prior to 2008, the only company that could write software utilizing the PDF format was Adobe. Since then, many other companies have come out with their own PDF editing software packages. However, the Adobe packages are the original packages that came out for this use. The basic idea of a PDF is that you have a document that resembles the document that may have come off something like Word or WordPerfect or something along those lines. However, in this format, it cannot be altered, which allows it to be more secure. So you can share documents without having people make changes to them. The other thing is that it can be viewed on many different devices and many different operating systems without having to use the original software that the document was created in. So there are a number of key features of PDF files that are notable. First one is compatibility. So PDF files are viewable and printable on today virtually any platform. Of course, that includes Windows and Macs, but also Android, other Apple products, and even ebook readers such as Kindle, Sony, and so forth. Accessibility has to do with assistive technologies for people with disabilities. That particular feature is one of the more advanced features in the Adobe Acrobat DC Pro, as we'll see later. Security is also common in PDF documents. So one way you can protect them is with passwords. You can actually prevent a PDF document from being copied or printed or having pages extracted. You can even prevent it from people from copying text out of the pages using copy and paste. and you can stop it from being printed as well. So there are many levels of security that you can assign to these documents using PDFs. Another important feature of PDF documents is searchability. Along with the other advantages, PDF documents allow you to do searches within the actual document, which is not common in other files such as Word or WordPerfect. And these text features also use something called metadata. Now, metadata is basically data about data. In other words, it's information about the content of the file itself. PDFs are also very efficient for storage purposes. They are highly compressed. Adobe uses different algorithms to make the file as small as possible without losing its quality. Now, another thing that people may not be aware of is font management. When you have a computer, an operating system, if you go into a application such as Word or Excel and you have many different fonts available, the reason those fonts are available is because they are installed on that machine. They would not show up in those applications if they weren't. With the PDF files, any font that they use is embedded into the file. Now, what this means is if you have a font in a PDF file that doesn't exist on the computer you're viewing it on, it will still show up as that font because it's embedded in the file. It does not require it to be on the computer itself. Extensibility. PDF files also contain features that do not affect the final appearance, but are useful, such as, again, metadata, which is data about data, that can contain things like title, author, creation date, and also file identifiers, which is a reference that helps one PDF file identify contents of another. We'll take a look right now at what the current or contemporary Adobe Acrobat products are. Now, I'd mentioned what they start out as in 1993, and I've also mentioned that Adobe does like to change their product names quite frequently. So currently, what they have is in the Adobe Acrobat suite, there is the Reader DC. That is the free version that we're going to be loading in our lab this week. It allows you to view and print PDFs, also electronic signatures. The DC Standard has the editing features and it's not as extensive as the DC Pro, but both of them allow you to edit and create PDF documents. The only difference with DC Pro is it's upgraded to allow certain scanning features and accessibility modifications.